Hello, hello.
Hi everybody.
How you all are doing today?
How is everybody doing? So today's topic of discussion is stepping out of a toxic relationship into a healthy relationship. So we're gonna lead by a devotion first.
Well, baby, let's go ahead and lead by prayer.
Okay.
Okay. So if you all can join with us, let's go ahead and go into prayer before we start this subject today. So, Lord, we come to you in the name of Jesus. We pray, Lord, as you lead us into healthy relationships. Remove us from toxic relationships. Help break us from strongholds, soul ties of individuals that we have experience with on a sexual level or just interacting with forced friendships and just toxic relationships, period. Into relationships that ties within you. Lord, allow ourselves to be bind to you on earth as it is in heaven with your word and your calling for our lives. And loosen us from strongholds of people that's not fit for our life and people that we have encountered. As we speak and decree it and declare it on earth as it is in heaven, in Jesus' mighty name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. All right, so we're gonna, first topic is talk about signs of toxic relationships. So, have you ever been in a toxic relationship before?
Oh my goodness, absolutely, definitely. Have you all?
Yeah, I've been in a toxic relationship. Actually, I've been in a couple toxic relationships, and I'm glad I'm in a place where I'm happy and healthy right now. So
Absolutely, definitely. That's a goal. That's one thing I realized, it's good to find someone that you can connect with and discover for us like how it is to have a healthy relationship versus a toxic relationship. But it takes prayer. It takes spending time with like-minded people, mature women and guys, people that's within their life, to show them that's the one you need in your life.
right,
Versus that one right there, that individual.
right.
Right. Absolutely.
So, I have 7 signs of a or a toxic relationship, and the first sign will be you feel disrespected.
Wow.
You feel disrespected. You might be in a relationship with somebody and you can never get out what you want to express to them because every time you try to talk, it kind of like revert everything back on you and make you feel like you're the problem, or they're calling you names or, just overall shutting you down mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Wow. You got to be aware of things like that.
Right.
Those are the individuals, they can be portrayed as what they call narcissists.
Right.
People that's in denial about things or whatever.
Right.
So you got to be careful with those type of individuals. People that basically, what do you call it, baby? Don't want to take
Don't want to take accountability for their own actions.
Wow. So when individuals like those individuals, bypass them.
Right.
Let them go. Let them go. Because if anything, they slowing you down the progress and the ideal man or woman that's ideal for your life. You see what I'm saying, baby?
Right. Another sign of a toxic relationship is your needs aren't being met. So, I can give an example. An example would be if I say, babe, I want affection, I want time, and you're being inconsiderate of what I'm needing, and you're like, oh, I'll do it later, and this never happens. A woman is going to, in that moment, she's going to feel like, oh, wow, my needs aren't being met. He don't care about me, so.
Wow, so hold on, let's stay right there right now. So fellas, y'all hear this now? This is what how a woman may think about the situation with her. So that means like if you're not taking heed to what you need to be doing for her, she gonna automatically feel this way because Because of what, baby?
Because her needs aren't being met.
Unmet. So they basically this is what you call unmet needs. That means you're not fulfilling a need that's supposed to be met.
Right.
So that means you need to study your woman, whatever.
Right.
If you're a man of God and love this woman.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. So the third thing is both parties, both the male and the female that are in the relationship, are having a hard time communicating.
What causes that, baby?
Two different walks of life. One person might be on this level and another person might be on another level. Or, one person might be on this page in the book, the other person might be on a completely different page, and until those pages in the book align or those frequencies align, you're going to communicate bad and just have a hard time communicating.
Wow. So how can we fix this? So the way I look at it, how you can fix that, the goal is, number one, to come on one accord.
Right.
That's number one. My thing is, if somebody more knowledgeable about for us how to deal with relationships and grow from relationships, take heed to what they're saying. Listen to them, whatever. Sometimes as guys, as males, we have this pride within us to feel like, you know what, I'm not going to listen to my woman. She needs to listen to what I got to say because I'm the man. But see, at the same time, God allowed the woman to be a helpmate. And at the same time, that doesn't mean that, she's lesser than a man. She's as equal to that man. She played her role and he played his role. So my thing is, just because you have a different role versus her, don't mean you down her. So if anything, you play her role, you listen to your woman, and vice versa, the woman listens to the man.
Right.
And that's how you become on one accord, where that seesaw, it balances the level.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the fourth topic would be you feel like you give more than you get, So have you ever been in a relationship with anybody where you felt like you put out more and you didn't get back what you were putting out?
In return?
Mm-hmm.
So basically kind of like compared to cashing a check, right?
It's more, well,
okay.
kind of sort of like cashing the check, but then too, it's kind of like you give your significant other like 75% and they're giving you 25%, or they're giving or you're giving 80%, they're giving you 20%. But our relationships need to be on one accord, which means that both parties in a relationship need to be at 100%. I'm giving you 100%. You give me my 100%. You know what I mean? That way, each parties can be level.
Absolutely, definitely. I definitely have felt that way before, numerous times. Matter of fact, I was one of those individuals that was not pouring into the relationship when I was young and immature. When I look back, in my 20s or whatever, younger 20s or whatever. But I had to learn the hard way, based on bruises and bumps and whatever, in the road, dealing with relationships that, I realized that, a woman, she would leave you. Or that guy will leave that woman, if they're not producing based on the numbers what you stated. They're giving out 75% and you receiving 25% of a quarter, basically. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
You're not really investing into the relationship.
That's true. And it's kind of like they did say that a woman will leave mentally before she leaves physically. So if you keep messing up with your woman, after a while, you're gonna see her walk out on you. She's gonna cut ties.
Like you said.
And the man, on the other hand, do you feel like, when he gets fed up with the relationship between his woman and he starts cheating and seeking peace elsewhere instead of fixing what needs to be fixed?
I have noticed that, like, with a lot of my male friends in the past, they have done that. Absolutely, to me that's very weak-minded. Because the goal is to reconcile and talk to your specific other, whatever,
right,
to make things right.
Right.
But yes, there has been a trend with a lot of males. Absolutely, there has been a trend with a lot of males. Instead of talking to their woman about something that they're not liking,
Right.
they rather just go ahead and do it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
And they say we nag as women, but we don't nag. The thing about us women is we're trying to tell you what we don't like because we're emotional, we're verbal. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of men take that as nagging. Oh, my woman nags. My woman nags. She always complains. But have you just actually sat down and thought, what is she actually needing? What is she actually talking about? What do she actually want out of this relationship? What does she need me to change? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That way you can come to common grounds and you can figure out what needs to be fixed in a relationship, because it takes 10 years for you to stop arguing.
That is true. Absolutely.
10 years.
Wow. So the question is, like, is women and guys, are they willing to endure up to 10 years just to stop that process? You know, where y'all just eventually get over, like, for us, like, arguing with one another.
Right.
Are y'all willing to do that?
Right.
So you got to have the mindset in your mind to, like, okay, my mind made up. I already know it's gonna be, like, you know, some silly conversations and things that we may encounter amongst each other, but, like, are we willing to endure no matter what? Try to understand one another. And are we in it to the end? You know, to the full of the throttle. You know.
Right. Let's see. We got the fifth one is you don't feel valued anymore in a relationship.
Oh no.
You know, everybody wants to feel loved. Everybody wants to feel valued in a relationship. And once the love and the value is gone, it's kind of like there is no more relationship. You know, you have women who, you know, who don't feel valued. They get self-esteem issues, confidence issues. They become depressed, emotional, you know. It's just, if you're not trying to value that person that you're with, you know, you break it off to that person. Hey, look, I'm sorry, we can't do this. You know, we're not on the same walk of life. We're not on the same page. And find somebody that you can...
that you're suitable with?
That you're suitable with, that values you and you value them.
Think about it. You heard what she said?
I mean, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. You know, you have a lot of people... The biggest mistake, let's just say we're going to start from scratch. The biggest mistake is, for instance, a couple that comes together. Yeah, you fell in love with puppy love. You got pregnant, or he got you pregnant. Y'all only stayed in a relationship because of the kid. It don't work like that. That's toxic. That is toxic. If you aren't going to value that relationship, if you can't say, you know what, I love this woman, I got this woman pregnant, and I promise this woman that I'm gonna be with this woman for the rest of her life, their kids' life, whatever. Don't do it.
Absolutely.
Don't do it. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, but learn the first time you make that mistake. You start seeing red flags everywhere, you know. Right away. You start seeing, once that baby is born, boop, you start seeing your red flags.
That's true. And I want to ask you to add with that, like, do you start seeing red flags at the beginning of a relationship?
You sure do.
So you got to get beyond, like, looking at viewing things from the puppy love stage. Because it's always good at the beginning, right? It's called the honeymoon stage.
There you go. That's what it's called. The beginning of the relationship is always called the honeymoon stage. And after the 6 months went by, you start seeing, even at 3 months, the earliest, you start seeing signs. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. After you can get past, like, the first maybe like year to 2 years, and, you know, y'all come to common grounds and y'all can first, you know, say, hey, look, let's sit down. We can talk about what needs to be done, what needs to be fixed in this relationship, what you accept and what I don't accept, or vice versa. Then the relationships become better, you know?
Right. But see, my thing is, when it comes to, like, relationships at the beginning, it's all about, like, people, they usually set out, like, their boundary. Okay, I'm not going to entertain this.
Right.
This how far I go, whatever. You have to set the rules out, like, you know, for us, like, what you're going to entertain and what you're not going to entertain from the get-go.
Right.
And the person, it's up to them to respect you or not. If they don't respect that or not, you got your answer. Don't entertain them. Let them go.
Right.
Move on.
And I know sometimes it is hard.
It is difficult. Yeah,
You know, the healing process does not. It's not for the faint. It's not.
Sure.
The healing process takes a while.
What is the healing process for the audience? What they can when you speak about the healing process.
The healing process is when, like, first the fresh breakup. You know, you go through different stages. You know, first, let's say the first day, no talking, no texting, no communication. You know, you cry. You know, it's just you're very emotional. But you do that, and each day that goes by, that healing gets better and better when you don't communicate with that person. And then you get to a level where you're like, you know what? I didn't need that person to begin with. I'm good.
Wow.
You know, you take up a hobby. You know, you just do different things to substitute for that heartbreak, to get your mind off of it and stuff
or that
like
pain,
that.
or what you was meditating on by dealing with what you were familiar with by dealing
Right.
with that individual.
Right.
So basically, you got to come to grips like, well, okay, I got familiar with this individual over this course of time, where it's like dealing with a person for like a year, 2, 5, 10 years. It don't matter, plus or whatever. You have to substitute, just like what my baby's saying, is you have to substitute it where, let me find a new hobby. Let me find something new. Let me try something different. Because it says, from what I was told, it takes 30 days to start a new habit, or 30 days
to drop an old habit.
Old habit. Wow. So just imagine if you all actually just start a new hobby or a new task or something that's adventurous, whatever, and stay consistent with it for 30 days. That can cause you to break up whatever it is within your life that you've been dealing with all your life.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's an individual, a boyfriend or a girlfriend that's toxic that you don't need in your life.
Right.
Am I right, baby?
Yeah, you're right. So another thing that I wanted to add in there is when you're going through that healing journey, make sure you stay in the Lord's word, as well as denounce and renounce every soul tie and everything that, that don't belong of you. And make sure you stay in that positive, just stay in that positive vibe and frame of mind as well.
Yes, definitely indeed. You definitely want to have that, within your mind or whatever. So, if you can, go ahead and continue on. Is there anything else that we have according to this?
So we have 2 more.
Okay.
The first thing, I really don't want to touch on this topic because everybody is going to resent any partner that they have had any bad experiences with, regardless.
Okay.
Because they feel like the time has been wasted, or they feel like they're being used, or whatever the case may be. So that's going to be in any type. That's going to be in a abusive relationship. It just
verbal.
Right. So a lot of people are passive aggressive with this last topic. And it can be a funny passive aggressive, or it can be a bad passive aggressive.
So what you're saying, it could be like a person be sarcastic with?
Right.
I got you. Okay.
Right.
You all hear this? But it's true. Okay.
So yeah,
I didn't mean to cut you off. Or it can be like what? Like
just rude, disrespectful, passive aggressive. Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. So the second topic that I want to touch base on is signs of a healthy relationship.
There we go.
This is where everybody wants to be and needs to be when it comes to relationships. And relationships don't necessarily have to be boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, sister, brother, mother, daughter. It don't have to be just those type of relationships. This can be any type of relationship. Any type of relationship. So the first thing that I want to touch on is you trust each other. Without trust, there's no relationship. Oh, I'm sorry. Imagine building a house, right? Mm-hmm. If the house have no foundation, the house is not going to stand, right?
True.
So if you have no foundation, you have no trust. So trust is actually the most important thing that people need in any type of relationship.
Facts.
So, anything that you want to say on trust?
You basically answered the question. I mean, only thing I can say is like when it comes to trust is basically like, you know, you got to have it where no matter what, no matter like, you know, you're in error of something you're doing or whatever that you have done wrong or whatever.
Right.
You have to have it where you consistent with for it's like proving your loyalty to that individual.
Right.
Sometimes you may be the individual, like, you know, you can speak to them and say, hey, just what I'm going to do for you, whatever. And certain things in life may occur within your life. And that person automatically, based on past experience, based on their last spouse, immediately they feel like, I can't trust you.
Right.
But that's like situations. But for that person to identify and let that person know that, hey, I apologize for, you know, what I didn't have no control of or whatever. Give that person a chance. That's showing that's a person that's willing to express that they feel they have a care for you, and just go to trusting them. In my personal opinion.
Right.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. But you know what? I'm going to add one other thing.
Okay.
A lot of people who have trust issues also need a lot of reassurance.
Wow.
A lot of reassurance. Like, you know.
Because what all they have endured with
exactly,
from the past experiences.
Exactly. So the next topic I want to say, or the next bullet I want to talk about is respect. Without respect,
respect, yes. Man,
a relationship is not gonna work without respect. If you don't respect your significant other, then you need to move around.
Just basically, just exit
out.
I got you.
To the left,
y'all
to the left.
Y'all because if it ain't no respect in the relationship, y'all.
There's no relationship.
If a man talking to you crazy or a woman talking to you crazy, whatever, and you entertaining that, you know. Do you respect yourself? You got to question yourself.
That's true. You got to respect yourself enough first.
Yeah.
Though.
Okay. Go ahead. Talk to me.
Respect yourself first, though.
That's true. That's number one, guys.
Number one.
And ladies.
If you respect yourself first, you're not going to allow nobody else to disrespect you.
That's true. Because like I said, go back to what I said earlier.
Right.
You set the boundary, like how far a person can deal with you when it comes to like how to respect you. So you set the boundaries. That goes to show you why are certain individuals entertaining toxic relationships when they should have set the boundary for like how far to go within that relationship or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're both honest with each other. Honesty can go a long way, don't you think?
Totally agree.
Yeah, because if you consistently lie in a relationship, it goes back to trust. I can't trust you if you're lying in a relationship.
So it's like tying together. Basically.
Yes, it's like a braid. It's like three strands: respect, trust, and honesty.
Wow.
All of them correspond with each other. So if I can't trust you, why would I want to respect you?
Right. Absolutely.
You know?
I agree.
So, or if you're not honest with me, why would I want to respect or trust you?
Right.
So yeah, we got that. Communication. Communication is a big factor when it comes to a relationship.
Indeed.
Why?
Indeed it is.
But why? Why do you say?
The reason why, because that's how you communicate with one another for us, like expressing each other based on how you feel amongst each other, also affecting how you view things in life and how you view one another in so many ways. And pretty much the list goes on and on. Communication, like I said, it's what you call gathering the information how to bring one another closest to each other.
Right.
Based on your different views, how y'all view one another. And for y'all to understand one another is based on how you communicate to one another.
That's true.
And then what y'all agree upon with one another. You know, the list goes on and on. All due to communication. Yeah.
You know, that goes back to being on the same page.
There you go.
Because if you're not on the same page, you can't communicate.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like an adult talking to a child. There's no communication.
Right.
We can't understand what the baby is saying or the child is saying.
Right.
You know,
You're on two different accords.
two different accords, right? The next one is conflict resolution. Conflict resolution. That's saying don't go to bed mad at each other. That's so true.
That's true, y'all. True indeed.
As tomorrow is not promised.
Mm-hmm.
And that your significant other might or might not wake up that next day, and you're gonna you'll regret not being able to resolve whatever you were arguing about that night before.
Based on what anger you had harbored, or unforgiveness or bitterness you had harbored within your heart that night before, is it worth it?
Right.
When God clearly states that, you know what I'm saying, I can't forgive you if, you know, how can I forgive you when you don't forgive others? When Jesus, he set the blueprint how people supposed to forgive people by forgiving people. You know what I mean? He forgave us.
Right.
You know?
Right.
He knew no sin. He became sin. Made a sacrifice for sin for us to reconcile to him.
Right.
You know? So how can he forgive you? And you know, how can you forgive? How can God forgive you when you can't forgive your own brother and sister, or whatever?
Right.
When he told you and taught you to forgive that person.
And we all fall short.
Of the glory.
We all fall short. Yeah.
Daily. But thank God for his forgiveness. And thank God for his grace to help us to get it right as we come to repentance and reconcile back to God.
Right. The next one is equality. You know, equality is, you know, we on the same level. You treat me the way I want to be treated, and I treat you the way you want to be treated. Okay. It's equality. You know what I mean? Equality can also represent, you know, let's say for instance, you know, she work, you work. You know, it ain't no, oh, you're the woman, you need to do this. You know, that's not it. You know, when you talk about equality, that means that everyone is equal. He is equal to doing just the tasks as you do. She's equal doing, you know, just the tasks as he do. It's not a one-sided thing. He come in, he'll like, oh babe, I don't feel like taking care of the kids. I don't feel like taking care of the house. I don't feel like doing this, that.
We don't do that.
That's not how it works. When you want a relationship to be equal, it has to be equal. Oh, okay, baby, here, you go take your shower. I'll watch the kids while you take the shower. Or I'll put the kids in the bed while you take your shower. Thank you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Making that woman or that man feel good that they have you in their life.
Amen.
Is equality. So.
Facts. Definitely. And that's called making sacrifice and showing that you sacrifice, making, you know, you expressing love by doing things that like what baby said, whatever, you know, you may be tired or whatever, you know, coming home from a long day of work as a man or whatever, and you know, she don't tend with the kids or whatever, but she just need time to just want to take and bathe herself and, you know, in the shower or whatever, or take a bath or whatever, and you know, you tend to the kids. That's a man's job to still make a sacrifice because y'all both, you know, created those children. And you being the lead or whatever, as a man, not saying you better than that woman, you know that, okay, my responsibility as I'm protecting my woman, I'm going to make sure that if she, not saying she's a weaker vessel, but she's a vessel that, you know, you, as a vessel you covering her. You see what I'm saying? So you're like, okay, baby, go ahead and take that shower. I got you covered because God placed it within you where you strong to cover the kids and her, you know, and yourself.
Right.
That's real.
True. There's support on both sides.
Okay.
So
what you mean by that, baby?
What I mean is without support from your significant other, the relationship won't work. For instance, let's say hypothetically, like I love, you know, grooming dogs and dog training and stuff like that. And let's say, babe, I want to.
You do a good job, by the way, too.
Oh, thank you, babe. Let's say that I want to reopen up my dog grooming business that I'll put on hold or whatever because whatever the situation may, pertain to. And you say no. That's saying no because of your own selfish needs or wants. You're not being supportive on what I want to do with my career or where I want to go see myself, and vice versa. So that's where the support come in, Also with support, a lot of people feel like they don't really have families or friends in their circles to support them, which is true,
I see that in today's society. I see that quite a lot,
Yeah, a lot of people feel like they don't have no support, no family to support them. You know what I mean?
But guess what? They got God.
They got God.
And at the same time, to be honest with you all, the crazy thing about it is, a lot of times, it don't necessarily have to be your family members.
Right.
It can be people that you don't even know, that's not your family, that support you much more than your own family and peers. Am I lying, baby?
Nope. You're not lying.
Because, baby, you support me.
I sure do.
You know what I mean? Oh, you my family?
I am your family.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, think about that, guys. But go ahead, baby. I'm listening to you.
The two that I'm going to tie in together is compromise and sacrifice. If there are no compromises and sacrifices in a relationship, it's not considered a healthy relationship. Compromise goes back to support. If an agreement, right, an agreement between the two, the male and the female, and then sacrifices. If you can't say, look, hey, I'll stop Netflix or I'll stop Hulu so you can get this or whatever you need, that's not a healthy relationship. You have to make sacrifices and compromise in order to keep and retain a healthy relationship.
That is true.
Yeah.
So that means basically you gotta have an ear, and at the same time you gotta have a heart to basically hear from your heart. Okay, obviously what I'm doing right here, this is not helping our relationship.
Right.
Because obviously, I'm doing something that's causing a problem with my spouse.
Right.
Okay. So if I continue doing what I'm doing on a continuous basis without trying to attempt to change or seek help or whatever, you basically saying you don't care about the relationship.
That's true.
Am I lying?
No, you're not lying.
You may be struggling in that area,
right?
Whatever it may be, but yeah. That means that shows that you just don't care about the relationship. At least have a heart to make a sacrifice. Like, okay, I'm willing to go to AA meetings or whatever. I'm willing to go start this diet or do this or do that. Whatever it is that your spouse sends something within you that you need to change to better y'all relationship, because it's hurting not only yourself but your spouse.
Right.
That's what you call making sacrifice. Am I right, baby?
You're right. And another thing, when you're in a relationship, you need to listen, because listening and hearing are two different things. I can hear you, but that don't mean I'm listening to you.
True.
So let's listen to our significant others. That way we can get an emotional feel of where their mindset is, how they're feeling. When you come home to your spouse, being at work is your time, your personal time. That's your time. When you come home, now it's time for us to blend as a family on our time.
That's real time.
Going to bed at night, that's not spending time. But going to the store, spending time, because you're getting out, you get to do whatever you need to do with each other, come in. But a lot of people don't understand that, come home and spend time with your your significant other, because tomorrow's not promised. Tomorrow's not promised. We are all living on borrowed time, whether we like it or not. That's just how it is.
That is definitely true right there. And like you said, when it comes to for us returning from work or whatever, or returning from kicking it with your family members or your friends or whatever, when you get behind closed doors with the one that you love, the one that you have a relationship with, you need to change your whole way of thinking. You need to get into that mode for it's like, okay, I'm with my spouse or whatever, and I need to get in her world or get in his world. You have to have that mindset, whatever. See how they feeling today, what they're going through today, whatever. That would cause a healthy relationship versus based on the things that we have spoke about prior before. There's things that what not to do. That's unhealthy, whatever. And we have shared things for us like things what to do that becomes healthy for us a relationship as well. And patience, that's another thing. What is it? Patience is a virtue, correct?
Patience is definitely a virtue. That's true. God is patient with us, so therefore we need to be patient with each other.
Now the question is, can you all be patient with one another? I gotta ask that question myself. I gotta ask that question daily myself. Being real, on a real day. So you have to be patient with people. That means patient with strangers, people you don't know on the street or whatever, or in neighborhoods or whatever. Patient with people that you socialize with, for us on a job or just people you see from time to time, just wherever, and your family members or whatever, with your spouses or whatever.